Good afternoon, hello, and welcome to the OMNI Coalition News Show, aka TOCNS. I haven't said those words in quite some time. This show is an amalgam of strange, weird, bizarre, off-the-wall, and otherwise things you don't normally see anymore from most news sources these days. During a time of political overabundance and divisiveness, we present you with more unifying topics to discuss. For links to those articles, the music done by Carrera, and anything else potentially interesting, check the underbar in the description below. Anyway, I am Aoxander.
I'm MTM.
I'm Noah.
Yep. And you, viewer, of course, are you. Today is Tears' Day, aka Tuesday, March 14th, 2023. So, does anybody want to get into this first article here?
Yes, this is
not exist, and they snuck into UN.
pretty interesting stuff here.
Yeah. The non-existent country that snuck into two United Nations meetings this past year. The United States of Kalyasa, a non-existent country created by a controversial Indian guru, somehow managed to sneak into two United Nations meetings this year. Founded by Indian fugitive and self-proclaimed godman Nithyananda Parmesan, the United States of Kalyasa... I'm not going to try to pronounce that. Claimed to be the first sovereign state for Hindus. However, you'll have a tough time trying to locate it on any map, not because of its size, but because no one knows where it actually is. In 2019, when Nithyananda announced the formation of Kailasa as a state, he claimed to have bought an island off the coast of Ecuador as its headquarters, but the government of the South American country denied any acknowledgement or any knowledge of the transaction. The controversial guru hasn't made any public appearances in the past 4 years, but the fictional nation's ambition has grown, and this year its representatives have attended two United Nations meetings. MTM,
scary.
do you want to read this next one? Paragraph?
Yeah. Nityananda Paramshivam, known as Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, by his followers, has a rather complicated past. A female disciple had accused him of rape in 2010, but he was only briefly arrested and then released on bail. He was later accused of kidnapping and confining children at his ashram in Gujarat, India. But days before he was due to show up in court, Nityananda disappeared and has been on the run ever since.
Wow,
Even though the so-called God-man hasn't made any public appearances in the recent years, videos of his sermons are regularly released on his many social media channels, and his followers have been pushing the idea of Kalyasa as the state of 2 billion Hindus really hard. It is proclaimed that the United States of Kalyasa is a country of, or for Hindus who are victims of persecution, just like its founder.
Wow. Well, the allegations of the struggle snuggle, like that's eyebrow raising. Like, what's really concerning is that despite all of this, which is like, it should be laughable, they still got into the UN twice. Like, that really makes me question, the integrity of the, UN, if it's that easy to get in there. So,
there's a term for these people in Buddhism. Actually, we call them false sages. It's people who want to use religion as a means to collude with government. It's kind of what this is right now.
Oh, you mean like the Scientologists?
Yeah, exactly.
And now I'm gonna get sued.
But just seemingly crazy on the run behavior.
Yeah. And for further reading on this article, please, audience, refer to the underbar of the description. It has links to this and all articles that we cover.
There's actually a link to the guy's YouTube channel.
He has a
at
YouTube
the bottom
channel?
too, yeah.
Oh my God.
People re-upload his stuff.
Wow.
Apparently his sermons are very much enjoyed. I would live for like 200 years. Oh my goodness.
When countries get YouTube channels and Facebook accounts and Twitter profiles and all that stuff, it seems so silly. But that's we're seeing a major shift in how society orchestrates itself on all fronts, and we just seem to be caught up in all we don't take countries for granted and stuff if they're going on about stuff on Twitter, right? It seems like grade school stuff, but it's happening. Like. So like for a country to have its own YouTube channel, that's kind of interesting. So anyway, let's move on up here. We got more from Oddity Central. Company reinvented basketball with airless see-through prototype. This is interesting. Sports equipment giant Wilson recently unveiled a 3D printed basketball prototype that does not need to be inflated and features a see-through lattice design. Basketball technology has come a long way since the early days of the sport when real stitched leather was used as the main material, but Wilson is trying to change the game completely with an intriguing concept that completely does away with pneumatic pressure. Instead, the Wilson airless prototype relies on the elasticity of its research-grade polymer material to produce the same bounce as traditional basketballs. This eliminates the need to inflate the ball to a certain pressure, as well as known problems like puncture risks and air escaping through the inflation valve over long periods of time. Look at that thing.
That is beautiful. I would actually love to do 3-foes with that. That looks pretty fun.
Yeah, once again, thinking about modern times and what's going on in the future. So this is something that you'd see as a prop for back to the future,
Right.
I actually saw an article that said a black hole was moving. I think that it was moving.
Well, that's very alarming. If you can find that, we will talk about that. So.
Yeah, I'll try to find that again for next show.
Mr. MTM, do you want to continue on this next paragraph here?
Sure. One of the most intriguing features of the airless basketball is the lattice design, although Wilson has kept this traditional binding pattern of regular basketball, ensuring the players can still get their fingers in the seams lines for better grip. This prototype has a very futuristic look, we were just saying, because containing air pressure inside is no longer a requirement. The ball itself is see-through, with hundreds of small hexagonal holes allowing air to pass through.
Now, I have a question. How long, what's the integrity of this material? Will it be able to sustain, 100 games? What's the, okay, I'm sorry, what are you trying to say, Noah?
I gotta go.
Okay, see ya.
All right.
How many games, can it be played with before, before it starts breaking down, before it stops having a spherical shape? There's going to be a lot of research that needs to be done into this, but it is really intriguing.
Apparently there's a video of Kenyon Martin Jr.'s dunking with it, actually using it at a stadium.
Huh. All right, let's take a look at this.
We're gonna skip through. The video starts at 43 seconds in.
43 seconds?
Just about, yeah.
All right. So yeah, this is talking about all the science and such.
Oh, that's this wrong video. It's at the very bottom.
Oh, okay. Oh, here we go. 43 seconds. All right, let's take a look at this. Dude, that's such a weird basketball. And didn't get it in. He didn't.
Yeah, they have to yeah.
Oh, wow. See, that's the other thing. It's a different material and all that stuff. It's going to be weighted a lot differently.
It's a different material. It weights differently, and it feels differently because because of the holes. It's gonna dribble and pass and throw differently.
Yeah, it's like playing with a giant wiffle ball.
Yeah.
I mean, do you see the speed he did that dunk? That ball weighed nothing. I don't watch a lot of basketball, but when they do dunks and such, you can see, that they are moving mats. But he's
Alice.
just.
Hey guys.
How you doing, Alice?
Well, I don't want to be a gossip because I know you don't like gossip.
Well,
but
by the way, we're on air. We're on air.
Oh shoot, we're on air. Never mind. I will talk about this
after the show. Did you not check the name of the channel before you came in?
Oh, I didn't. I was just quickly looking at it because I was talking to Lewis. Hey, but anyways, what are you guys talking about?
We restarted the news show today, and now we're talking about an article about a new type of basketball created with polymers and a honeycomb design. so inflation is no longer, air is no longer needed, no more air pressure, and we were just watching Kenyon Martin Jr. Dunking this basketball.
Okay.
So if you watch my stream here real quick, you'll see that.
Yeah,
this,
I'm in it.
All right, so you see, yeah, that looks like a prop, as I said, out of like a Back to the Future movie or something. Like it looks like, space age basketball, but it's here today, right now, as we speak, as you listen, audience. Like this.
Dude.
So, but here, like, watch this, like, and you can see, as I was saying, like, right before you came in, like, the speed that he dunks this ball, you can tell, like, as MTM said, aerodynamics, it's getting no resistance, so it's it's like dunking a wiffle ball. So, like, watch this. He tosses it up, he jumps in, and then, whazoom! That was quick.
What the? Holy bucket! So it's lightweight and aerodynamic. That's wicked.
Yeah, that's going to change basketball. That's going to change the sport entirely. If it becomes a regulation thing after, obviously a lot of research, because eventually, it's going to break down. Like after you bounce a ball so many times, it starts to lose its elasticity and everything. So. Yeah.
Well, just because any regular basketball does, but
Well, regular basketballs also deflate, so
or because of air pressure, cold and hot air, it affects the amount of air inside the basketball too. So this gets rid of that.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're gonna do something like that for like football. But I think that would be interesting if they did. But
it would be.
Football.
What?
I don't know, because the basketball is spherical, so all the air passes through it at the same rate. Football is oval, so the air would pass through differently. I don't know if that would work.
Well, yeah, and I'm wondering if, like, with air resistance.
You throw a football, the way you throw a football, so, like, it would have this, it would actually have, like, more aerodynamics because there's less surface for air friction to occur, so you'd probably be able to throw it farther. Like, doesn't Nerf already have something like that?
Well, think about it that way. They have same thing.
Like throwing a ball, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. But throwing a ball, like, with a wind, like, let's say you're in an outdoor stadium in football and you throw that ball, though, at the same time, that wind could really affect the football when you're throwing it, but wouldn't it anyways?
Well, it would, but with less surface area, it'll affect it less.
Oh.
So, but also because of its lightweight, if you get a tailwind, you can probably get a bit of a boost even more. So,
yeah.
So there's all sorts of factors. But anyway, let's move on up. We got one from UPI. Hippos surround lion stranded on rock in a river.
I saw that headline.
Yeah.
A male lion wanders into the wrong territory and finds himself stuck in the middle of a river surrounded by angry hippos. Well,
hungry hippos.
And yeah, I was going to say, as Connor and guide at the South Post in the Kruger National Park, Stune Jacobson, 30, said he has never seen a sight like that. He shared footage with latestsightings.com.
I want to interrupt real quick. You guys are talking about hungry hippos, and it's specified a male lion. What do hungry hippos eat?
Lions?
Marbles, don't they? Like
balls.
Marbles. Ball.
Male lion, marble, yeah.
Fair enough.
Anyway, continue on, Mr. MTM.
Absolutely. We started off with a quiet morning, so we went down to the river for our morning coffee stop so the guests could enjoy the view, as was my last drive with them. Always looking around for something, I saw the hippos' strange behavior. As we watched, the hippos grew increasingly agitated and started circling a rock, clearly unhappy with them. Lions in water typically don't mix well, as lions are not great swimmers and are often hesitant to enter bodies of water. So seeing this male lion stuck on a rock in the middle of the river was truly a unique sight.
Yeah, guys.
Let's take a look at this.
Yeah, holy bucket.
So yeah, I can see you can't really tell that there's a lion on there until you really look, because natural camouflage.
It just looks like the rocks.
Yeah.
He looks really sad and
defeated.
defeated.
Life, yeah.
Well, first off, they don't like being in water, and he's surrounded by water. Number one. Number two, there's a bunch of angry hippos surrounding him. He's probably gonna die. He's probably just
right now,
that's it.
They're not even circling. Well, I see one. Are those all those little masses there? Those are other footbills. Like, so they're all on one side. Oh, I see one in the background too, like in the middle, like further back in the river. Oh man, he's.
This is some Mufasa level, stuff here.
Oh, here he comes.
Long live the king.
Oh God. Poor Lion's just like, I'm
Oh
dead.
God.
Oh,
Oh wow.
oh no.
I don't know if we
Oh,
can show
Oh wow.
that.
Oh
my
Swim.
god.
Go.
Oh,
Go. Get out of there. Wow. He got attacked.
run. they're not even
went
attacking him,
after
they're letting him
Oh
go.
my God.
Dude, they're letting him go.
Yeah. Oh. I don't think they were, Alice. I don't think they were.
Oh,
Whoa. Wow.
holy buckets.
right.
Wow.
Well, let's move on up
What?
here. More from UPI. Suspected bird trapped in a wall was a stuffed Harry Potter toy. Goes on to see here, wildlife rescuers in Britain said they searched for a bird believed to be trapped inside the wall of a home where the cause of the sounds was revealed to be as a Harry Potter toy. Cleethorpes Wildlife Rescue said in a Facebook post that volunteers were dispatched when a East Lincolnshire, England resident reported bird sounds were coming from inside a wall at their home. Quote, there was no obvious entry point that the resident could find, so it was a mystery to how any bird would have found its way into the wall cavity, end quote, the post said. The rescue said the volunteers were still on their way to the home when the resident called a second time with an update. The cause of the bird sounds that appeared to be coming from inside the wall was a children's toy. The stuffed Hedwig, the titular character's pet owl from the Harry Potter series, had been making its recorded sounds from underneath a sofa. Wow.
Wow.
That's hilarious beyond belief to me. It's like,
Huh.
Some people and their children and their toys.
Yeah, well, think about all the money wasted on a
Yeah.
false dispatch.
on a false dispatch.
Well, they were on their way. They actually didn't go, did they?
Well,
Into this
it still
wall?
costs money. They're on their way. They spent gas. They did the prep time, the power.
Fair enough.
Every little bit, adds up. They didn't use any equipment or anything. They didn't tear a hole in the wall or anything like that. But there's still a cost to, yeah. But let's see here. More from UPI. Wearable waste. Sweaters made from oyster shells and plastic bottles. Well, this is interesting.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah.
So,
A Massachusetts
avant-garde,
company is aiming to make oceans and landfills a little bit cleaner by making sweaters out of oyster shells and plastic bottles. Okay? Mike Lamagna, the founder of Long Wharf Supply Co., said customers are often surprised to learn each sweater in his company's Sea Well collection is made from 4 to 5 oyster shells and about 8 recycled water bottles.
Wow.
They're shocked every single time, Lagman told WCVB TV. Lagman said water bottles are a major source of ocean pollution, and oyster shells sent to landfills cause the calcium carbonate in the shells to break down slowly and become toxic. Oh.
Oh,
That kind of sucks.
more to know, right?
It says his sales benefit the MA Oyster Project, and that aims to seed recycled oyster shells back into the ocean, where they can create substrate for baby oysters, animals that naturally filter the water of the ocean.
Huh.
One piece can reseed up to 30 oysters, which will naturally filter up to 1,500 gallons of seawater every single day. Lagos said. Wow.
Wow.
Well, it's a cause.
Yeah. It's a cause.
That's actually really cool.
Yeah, it's a cause you can wear.
Heck
And-
yeah, dude. I'd endorse that.
Yeah. And the actual I think the icon or the thumbnail for today's video is the Seawell. Let's see, let me bigger this real quick. I saw oyster shells, plastic bottles, but there's a word for it.
Yeah, I think he's actually wearing one in the video.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, can we see the video
Here we go,
or
Seawool. And how is it being used for clothing fabric? So yeah, that's the word seawool. So oyster shells and plastic bottles and stuff, making it from the sheep of the sea. I guess that's what oysters are now. So
they're making like a fiber out of that. That's actually interesting.
yeah,
shit.
yeah,
Just don't throw that sweater into the dumpster.
no,
Yeah, it would defeat the purpose, eh?
yeah, yeah. You know,
Yeah.
and that,
Forever, yeah.
that actually brings up
What?
But before we continue on with this, like I'm gonna go back to here real quick. When I went to my grass station the other day, you know, and you know, to pick up some herb, I saw that they're selling stems. Like, they actually are selling stems. And that's just like wild to me. It's like, you know, anybody who would buy stems would save stems, you know, but what if they don't smoke? What if, because you can actually use, you know, cannabis stems for tea and other stuff. You know,
Yeah,
you
that's
grind
what
them
I was
up,
about
put
to
them in
say.
tea bags. You know, and I actually saved a lot, you know, for that reason, but never got around to it. But then, you know, that made me wonder, like, you know, like, would they have a stem buyback program? It's like, you know, oh no, but you know, how would you prove that it's actually marijuana stem? No, hold on. I have a process. Like, but that made me wonder, like, you know, like the buyback program. But then, you know, what's stopping somebody from using fake stems and trying to pass them off? So
Yeah.
So then I'm thinking, well, you know, this sounds crazy. It sounds like a stoner thought, which, you know, it obviously is. But how long before we get, like, on the spot, like, you know, instant, like, you know, 30 seconds, like, you know, results for, like, plant DNA? So what if, you know, you came into a stem recycling facility, you know, and, you know, for, you know, like to get stems to trade them in for fresh bud at a grass station.
Are you talking like reverse engineer the stem to find out like what strain it is or whatever?
Well, no,
or
just
are
to
you
make
talking-
sure, like, it's, you know, it's actually a weed stem.
Well, actually, the reason why they're asking for stems to come back in is because you can turn those fibers of that stem into hemp. I mean,
Well,
it's
yeah.
not just the hemp, but stems and stuff like that. Like, it's a fiber stronger than cotton. So.
But yeah, but what I'm saying
more
is it's
durable.
that specific stem. Like, they won't accept you just coming in with a yard bag full of stems because they don't know if those are actually weed stems or just your yard waste, you know? So I was saying, what if they have like a little thing that you can put a stem in and it reads the stem and it's like, oh yes, it is a weed stem. And then you like a recycling facility, you turn, you know, your aluminum cans to cash. Well, you turn your stems into new buds, you know?
There we go.
Yeah. But anyway,
Not to mention,
let's
can
move
we,
on up
like-
here.
Can I read this headline, but you can read it? I just think this headline's awesome.
Yeah, I just want to say something really quick. The movie Cocaine Bear just came out recently, so, like...
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This is
you
the
didn't-
second time today that life has imitated art instead of the other way around.
Well, this is what kind of makes me worry. Well, let's get through this story, and then I'll explain what's making me worry. So go ahead, Alice.
Okay, so I'm just gonna read the headline, but one of you two can read the substance. A wild cat was found in Cincinnati with cocaine in its system. No, it's not a movie.
No.
You've probably heard
So-
of Cocaine Bear, the box
No,
office
I
hit,
actually haven't.
but a black bear's drug-fueled feeding frenzy. But have you heard of Cocaine Cat? The phrase started trending on Twitter on Thursday. Like the movie, it's based on a true story, and only this one is about a wild cat that is captured in Cincinnati and turned out to have cocaine in its system. But unlike the movie, the story isn't set in the 1980s. It happened earlier this year. It was only made public recently for legal reasons. Ray Anderson explains with the Cincinnati Animal Care Shelter.
All right. So, Alice, to give you a little background story, now this is actually a true story. Like back in the 80s or whatever, like some cartel or some drug pusher or something, like they were moving drugs via aircraft, and like either the aircraft crashed or like they had to dump the load or something. Anyway, whatever the case, a huge like what was it, 3,000 pounds, like a brick of cocaine, like ended up in, you know, just
Oh, good God.
some forest, and then a bear found it, you know, ate all of it, you know, went crazy, and then like went on like some kind of like psycho bear themed, like, you know, coke adventure, and then eventually died because its heart literally exploded in its chest. And then they recently made a movie about it because that story's been making rounds on the internet for a couple of years, and it really got a lot of notoriety. Now, what concerns me about this article is, number one, first off, it's a stray cat. So, what, you know, is somebody going
Like a
out there
wild
and
cat.
trying to start another story, you know, riding the coattails of Cocaine Bear and giving cocaine to stray animals? You know, trying to start a whole new thing. You know, because people do stuff like that. That's really sick. But
Yeah. Well, I hope to God no one ever gives little one or chocolate bar any of that.
Well, keep them.
She's already a feral cat that I've
Yeah.
actually tamed for the most part, but that's crazy. I never even heard about Cocaine Bear. That's weird.
Yeah. Well, there's a movie.
Well, actually-
we gotta watch that.
Yeah.
Further on in the
well,
article,
after the show.
there's an interesting query about a capuchin monkey who was saved and may have ingested amphetamines.
Oh wow.
Oh,
So when he was
no.
brought to the same preserve, somehow. I'm still taking a look over at it, but the other article goes on. Interesting to see.
Well,
We actually
Capuchin
have-
monkey.
We have
If
a.
you've seen the movie Break, that's what the kind of monkey it is. It's the black with the white face monkey, right? Yeah, the capuchin. Yeah.
We have a follow-up article, in a little bit. Actually, it explains some other stuff going on with that.
Oh God.
But yeah, let's move on up here. From NPR, she left her 2007 iPhone in its box for over a decade. It just sold for $63,000.
What?
Yeah, well, people love old technology,
Mint in condition too, yeah.
if you think
I
about,
had an Nokia.
it's the same story. Why are rotary phones so expensive today? Because they're rare. Supply and demand. Intrinsic value. Based off of just how many there are out there. While everybody's throwing away their iPhones, if you and only 100 people, saved your first generation iPhone, that's the only first generation iPhone left on this world, and it's worth a fortune, for museums, collectors, people for various reasons, their own private, stuff.
That kind of reminds me of the music video from the band Orgy from Stitches, where they have little things where it shows pieces of history from back in the day and whatnot in it in the music video.
Yeah.
Of I think there was a pair of sunglasses. Oh no, wait, that was the Katy Perry one where they found a pair of sunglasses that were Ray-Ban or something that were, whatever. But
I still have my original iPod, the iPod. I still have mine somewhere floating around. It still works.
Jeez.
It still works. I found it several years ago, and then I plugged it in, turned it on, did a little thing, clickety click click click. Oh yeah, the memories.
What was the thing that was before the iPod came out that people used for music?
CD players.
Well, no, I'm not talking about that. There was a different it was a different form to the iPod. It was it was an MP3 one.
Are you talking about Microsoft's try? Because Microsoft tried to have an
There was
MP3
Zune,
player.
yeah, but I'm talking about a different one. I think it was just MP3.
Zune. Are you talking about the Zune?
Well, Mag just said Zoom, but but it was actually just said MP3 on it actually.
Huh.
No, I remember those things. I actually have a couple of those SIM clip ones, but
I don't know, but let's get into this article. When Karen Green got a new job in 2007, some of her friends pitched in to buy her a brand new iPhone. Pardon me. And while hundreds of thousands of U.S. citizens clamored to get their hands on the first version of the revolutionary, as Apple correctly predicted, smartphone, Green wasn't one of them, in part because she had upgraded her new phone, which was non-smart, not long before, and reportedly didn't want to switch from Verizon to AT&T. She kept the first generation 8GB phone, sealed in the box, realizing as the years went on that the collector might find it valuable. Her hunch was confirmed when appraisers on the show estimated it at $5,000. But the result of an online auction shattered all expectations this weekend, when Green's iPhone sold for $63,356.40, over 100 times more than its original cost, and more than any vintage iPhone before it. So,
Jesus. So this is the first generation, right?
yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Save your stuff. Don't just throw it away.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what do you have to say about that, MTM?
Sorry about that. I had a minor Discord latency issue there. I just restarted itself.
These things happen. We still love you.
Yeah, I mean, it's people like to save these things as time capsules. I think that's the big high ticket spender on mint condition stuff. Most of those people don't want to take it out and play with the box, right? They want to They want it for the collectible value.
Yeah.
Like it's a page in the history. It's a time capsule.
You know what's making me wonder is like unless you can prove like would an X-ray like damage an iPhone or something if it's in the box? Like if you have a sealed box, it's never been opened, okay? Well, what's stopping somebody like from a plant or someone who has a know-how from unsealing it, taking the iPhone out, putting in just like a couple rocks,
Yeah.
sealing it again? You won't know. Like,
Well, my boyfriend has a couple jugs and boxes of Aunt Jemima that have Aunt Jemima still on them.
yeah, which I think they're coming back with that.
Yeah, well, it was pretty racist of them to get rid of it, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, we want to talk about that. Like, they got rid of the Native American with Land O'Lakes. They got rid of Uncle Ben. They got rid of Aunt Jemima. But they left the Quaker Oats guy, a white guy, alone. How is this fighting racism?
Yes, exactly. How is it? It's like, quick... Exactly. Anyways, but that's crazy that somebody would... Oh, shit, is this where you're talking about it circles back to the cocaine animals?
Oh, yeah, no, just a little bit of a follow-up with the cocaine cat. That escaped owner, it will now live in Cincinnati Zoo, so it is safe.
Oh, so it survived.
Yeah, no, it's
That's
alive,
good.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, poor cocaine cat. Now it's just gonna have the DTs for a while.
Yeah.
Poor cat.
And by the way, I just want to say, MTM, your goatee is a remarkably amazing square. Like,
I know, dude.
it is like,
Like,
with like a little
I
dot
can
in the
only
center.
see Xander. I can only see Xander when I'm looking at the screen share, so I don't see MTM when he talks. But when I first popped in and saw his luxurious facial hair, I tip my hat to you.
It's like
Speaking of
Thank you.
hats,
it's like the front part of his face is a lumberjack.
oh
what's
man,
funny?
but this is cool.
Everyone says having a beard like is terrible if you're a salesman. So, but I don't know. I've had a lot of good luck with it. A lot of people really enjoy this aesthetic of mine.
It really depends on social trends. Like beards, were kind of like viewed down upon for a while, societal wise. But then, recently, people are, there's news articles coming out, beards are making a comeback, stuff like that. Like, hell, Captain America was clean shaven, and then he suddenly had, this, big beard and everything.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yes. Well, I never trust a salesman without a beard. So, oh my gosh, is this? Whoa. Barbie
Yeah.
helps develop new moon dust cleanup system. What the heck's this about?
I don't know. Let's find out.
Oh my god. Go ahead, read it. Like, what the... To the moon...
Well, the first part of the article is just some backstory and stuff about Barbie, G.I. Joe, things like that.
okay.
But let's see here. Spacesuit clad Barbie to the rescue.
What?
Okay, hold on a second. Let's go back. Let's read this whole thing. Actually,
Yeah.
I think we skipped.
So it starts in March of '59 here. You see a launch of one of history's most iconic toys, the Barbie doll. She hit the scene at the American Toy Fair in New York City wearing a stylish black and white striped bathing suit with a sassy blonde ponytail and scarlet lipstick. At a mere 11 inches tall, she became the first mass-produced toy in the United States with adult features. Oh yeah, with the boobies.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, why does it say
Okay,
move
so-
over G.I. Joe? G.I. Joe's not even in that same category. It doesn't have adult features.
No, it's yeah, exactly.
So
But they want to cancel these things.
yeah.
So little known facts about Barbie include her full name, Barbara Millicent Roberts, and her initial role was as a risque souvenir sold at tobacco shops in Europe. Back then, she went by Bild Lily and name of a German comic strip character. Oh gosh.
Huh.
After Mattel purchased rights to so-called Lily doll, they repurposed her image, transforming her into an endearing culture phenomenon. Over the years, Barbie has boasted more than 200 careers, including astronaut.
Oh, how ironic! A German-made product is now in space.
Dude, so Mattel bought the original thing, which was a risque. So it's, oh god, this is hilarious where the origins of Barbie come from, but
Yeah.
it makes sense.
Yeah.
So, yeah, anyways, so now you can do this to the moon and beyond, but yeah. Actually, I did have a collector's Barbie. It was one of the wedding dress ones from like 1990.
Huh.
But I eventually opened the box.
Well,
'Cause
MCM
I
looks
want-
like he's eager to read, so let's let him go for it.
Yes. Go.
From To the Moon and Beyond?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright. Neil Armstrong may have taken one small step for mankind on July 20th, 1969, but 4 years before Apollo 11, Barbie already rocked a full moonwalk outfit, diving in full tilt into space exploration before it was cool. She even wore a racy bob, giving Doris Day a run for her money. Yeah,
Damn.
with the Doris Day haircut going on.
Oh.
Yes.
Bro,
She's
not
that's
only is she
wicked.
not only is she a pioneer, but she's doing it in style.
Dude, look at her, like her helmet's in her arm, on her hip. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, boy.
Yeah.
So,
See? Women empowerment right there.
she has had several other roles, but scientists actually recently announced Barbie's help in a vital space travel experiment. Donning an astronaut suit, the effervescent beauty got showered with fake moon dust, volcanic ash from Mount St. Helens eruption of 1980. And next, they blasted her with liquid nitrogen and measured the results.
What?
Where are you reading? I'm trying to catch up to you.
The-
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Right under that, yeah, right before spacesuit-clad Barbie. to the
Spacesuit-clad
rescue.
Barbie to the rescue. What did they find? Scientists happily reported that a liquid nitrogen shower removed approximately 98% of the offensive powder, aka moon dust, from her suit. Researchers substituted volcanic ash for moon dust because it's illegal to buy or sell the real substance. Why so much concern about moon dust on suits? Because it represents more than a nuisance for NASA dry cleaners. You know what? As someone who worked in the sandblasting industry, I understand where they're coming from with this. Moon dust is toxic to human cells and can lead to what's known as lunar hay fever, a condition characterized by sneezing, sore throats, and watery eyes. Not symptoms you want to deal with during interstellar travel, but the impacts of moon dust don't end there. So essentially, they figured out, just playing with toys, essentially, a really good way to decontaminate people coming off of the moon. Like, that is incredible.
Test subjects.
Yeah, liquid nitrogen. Yeah, for further reading, of course. I want to remind the viewers, for further reading on this and all the other articles we have and will be reporting on, please refer to the underbar, the description below. The links to all of these are down there.
Say hello to liquid nitrogen. I just like how it says that. Oh.
Anyway, let's move on up here. This is not something we're going to spend too much time on, I believe, because the majority is probably going to be in this video here. The truth behind William Howard Taft's bathtub.
How could you bother spending time on that? You would take forever to get through it all.
Oh my god.
Like a deep sea exploration right there.
Damn, that can be taken as fat phobic.
Jesus. Oh Lord.
But yeah,
the tub tails.
Yeah, look at the size of his tub. 4 workers fit comfortably in President Taft's new tub. It was 7 feet long, 41 inches wide, and weighed a ton. Literally, a ton. So...
Dude, there was a tub roughly that size that you could fit 4 people comfortably in at this one place I was at. I'm not kidding. It wasn't Taft's tub, though.
Yeah, but William Howard Taft is still the heaviest president we've ever had. What was he, 275 pounds or something? 300 something?
Yeah, but he had one amazing mustache.
William Howard Taft's weight. 243 pounds.
Yeah, you're close.
Yeah.
The article actually says 6 feet tall and weighed in at 340 pounds by the end of his presidency.
Yeah.
What?
When he graduated from college, he struggled with his weight and may have weighed more than 330 pounds as president.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, but yeah, he was a big boy.
Yes,
he was tall and he was heavy.
Yes, he was. He was big and tall. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, that's the big and tall sections that you have in, retail stores today.
Yep. And last but not least, we have from Ripley's as well. I've been failing to read where these sources were from. So like the Barbie, William Howard Taft, and that's all from Ripley's. The follow-up to the Cocaine Cat thing is from Associated Press News. Anyway, elementary students discover alarming news about space and EpiPens. Huh. Scientists from St. Brother Andre Elementary School's program for gifted learners, PGL, recently teamed up with the University of Ottawa to examine whether EpiPens, the emergency medication used for treating serious allergic reactions, work in space. Believe it or not, the students learned that the critical medicine can become poisonous when exposed to conditions on a rocket and high-altitude balloon, something NASA didn't even know. Wow. Okay.
Whoa. That's
Whoa.
crazy, dude.
So, like, if you have a heart attack in space, just ride it out,
Well, with that zero gravity, that actually might be helpful because also, like, as you're floating, like, isn't your innards kind of floating a little bit too?
Yeah, but without gravity, you don't have proper circulation.
Yeah.
Your body was built to be in a gravity,
Yeah. And
environment.
this is why
Because
too
the
long of
heart
exposure of
pumps
zero
against
gravity.
gravity. It pumps the blood from the bottom of you back to the top. But for it does pump back down, but it's gravity assisted. So, but with zero G, it's actually harder on the heart and organs. Like there's serious problems about muscle and bone atrophy. When astronauts get back.
Well, that's why they kind of look all floppy when back in the Apollo missions when they came out.
Yeah.
But also
they lose bone density as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's why they make sure that they do exercising in there, even though it's weird. But overexposure to zero gravity over time is harmful to us.
It is.
You've seen it with people who do those 14-month stints up in the ISS.
Yeah, and for anybody who was watching our history show earlier today, we reported on an article that something Scott, what was his face? I forgot his first name, but his last name is Scott. He spent a year in space or something, but he had a twin brother. But after spending the year in space, his DNA was 15% different. He's no longer DNA a twin to his brother anymore. So the cosmic radiation stuff altered him on a molecular level. So, space is serious. But let's get back to this article. MTM, you want to talk about this major discovery here?
Sure. The elementary students and budding scientists ages 9 to 12 collaborated with the university to test a theory, specifically how cosmic radiation affects the molecular structure of epinephrine. Specifically, according to U Ottawa, the stars in the sun release high-energy particles that cause cosmic radiation. Earth's atmosphere does a good job of protecting the planet from this radiation, however. It can be dangerous if astronauts are exposed to cosmic rays for a long period of time. Cosmic radiation can cause issues such as radiation sickness, cancer, and other disease. PGL and the U Ottawa experiment was part of the Cubes in Space STEM program that allows students to research to take place on board two suborbital flights organized by NASA. When the team's samples sent into space were returned to U Ottawa, and the elementary students, the university analyzed it through its John Holmes mass spectrometry core facility. The epinephrine came back only 87% pure. The remaining 13% turned into benzoacidic derivatives, making it poisonous.
Wow.
Unlucky 13 number, yeah, unlucky 13, poison.
Well, what was I just talking about? Cosmic radiation altering, that guy on the molecular level. Nothing's safe. So that makes me wonder. Are they gonna design some different form of EpiPen? Some different formula, or have it encased in something that's resistant to the rays a little bit longer, or because seriously, it's inevitable that we will be space traveling commercially, and somebody at some point will need something like this. So
Yeah.
well, better to find out now than in the future, and somebody randomly dies on a Delta airline flight to the moon or something. So. But that's,
Yeah, well, you have to make sure you have like a matching gravity to Earth's gravity to do the travel, I would imagine.
Well, not necessarily.
But even then, though, like the thing is that you're outside of the Earth's natural magnetic field, and so the magnetic field that we have also protects us from like certain radiation and solar flares and stuff like that and everything like that that's out there.
Yeah.
What is it called? Like the Van Anders belt or whatever?
I think that's something else. Van Andros belt?
It's the radiation belt that surrounds between the moon and Earth.
Earth's radiation belt. Yeah, you're right. Van Allen radiation belt. It's one part of Earth's dynamic magnetic environment known as the magnetosphere. During periods of intense intense space weather, the density and energy of radiation belt particles can increase and pose a danger to astronauts, spacecraft, and even technologies on the ground. So,
Yeah.
wow, a little bit of science. So.
Well, that's why a lot of people are like have the theory and argue that we never made it to the moon because of that belt. Okay. But yeah,
Yep.
that's for another day, another time.
Man, like all of these are good talking points for the Kick Peanut. Like.
Oh yeah, I think we might have a good idea for this upcoming peanut, but
Yeah. Well, anyway, let's wrap this up here. That shall conclude the show. Once again, you can check the underbar of the description for any links you may find interesting, including but not limited to all things Omni Coalition. We have, we live stream on my personal channel. The Omni Coalition has its own YouTube, a Rumble, and a BitChute. So go, check that out. For your dose of different, odd, and otherwise unknown news, this show is available, or we stream every day at 2 p.m. Pacific time. Not every day, we stream every Tuesday and I think Fridays. So Tuesdays and Fridays, 2 p.m. Pacific time, which is 3 p.m. Mountain.
5 p.m. 5 p.m. Eastern at least.
Yeah. And 4 p.m. Central. Yeah, we're still working out how to outro. It's been a while since we did this one. Anyway, for your dose of different, odd, and otherwise unknown news, yeah, we do all that. For all of you and all of us, I am Xander.
I'm MTM.
I am. Who is Alice?
And you are you. And until you catch us on Friday, or if you're interested in history, we have a history show every day at 10 in the morning Pacific time. That's the stream time. Anyway, until whenever, don't forget to look right and left at every intersection, rate 5 thumbs, and subscribe. Toodles!